Welcome to the 21 convention in Miami, Florida. Guys, real treat here. I've had the pleasure of knowing this guy on an acquaintance level for many years, but then had the true pleasure to interview him. That interview's actually on the 21 Convention channel, and it's an amazing thing. But not only that, I've gotten to know his entire coaching staff and just amazing people, clients, amazing people, truly teaching us about ease, delight, love, and beauty. The founder of Ars Amorata, Zan Perrion.
Let's have a talk. Okay. I thought about what I was going to talk about today. Usually I just wing it. I come up with an opening sentence and I just start to wing it. But I want to talk about a subject today, and I'll try and explore it in various ways. So if I ramble a bit and jump around, just bear with me. And the subject I want to talk about, which is strong on my mind and has been for many years, is the concept and the idea of us men being men. In other words, our sexual spirit and our masculine edge. The mystique we have as men, the beautiful God-given gift of our sexual desire, which in the West, which we're all a product of, is anathema. It's wrong. So I want to talk about that, and I'm going to explore it, and I'm going to think about things as I go that I've discovered over the years, and see if we can come to some kind of it's an energetic thing I'm going to talk about. So I've always been interested in the kind of man who women adore, and you know what I'm talking about. You guys know somebody in college or something that you knew that he wasn't very tall, he wasn't very good looking, he had no money, he was kind of a slob, but girls loved him. He always had girls around him. And I wanted to know, what is the energy of that man compared to the rest of us who are trying to analyze things and trying to analytically figure things out, trying to say the right thing, do the right thing to get girls. And this guy just just be yourself. I wanted to understand that. And I spent my entire life trying to understand that man and that energy. And why do they have a vibration that the rest of us do not have? And how can we have it for ourselves? Why do women encounter him and the next day she can't stop thinking about him? She's daydreaming, she's in her office and she's playing with her pencil and she's looking out the window, thinking about that guy. That's the only thing I think that has any merit and has any kind of, what's the only subject I want to talk about? And truly, I think it's the only subject we need. I really do. It's the only thing we need. We're a great generation of nice guys. We're charming, we learn how to talk, we're learning how to approach girls, we're learning how to be, to take a girl on a date. But there's no edge in us. There's no lower energy. These men have a vibration that moves down into the earth like this. It's a lowered center of gravity, and women can feel it. And they go they might not even be attracted to him, but they go, that guy. So this is what I've been trying to understand all my life for myself. And I wrote a book about it called The Alabaster Girl. And you guys all have a bookmark on your place in front of you. And and I'll send you a free copy. I'll sign it and send it to you from Romania, where I live. If you go to the website, alabastergirl.com, I'll send you a copy. I'll sign it and send it to you. Put your email in there, or your mailing address, your snail mail address, and I'll send you a physical copy. So, the book I tried to write, it took me 10 years to write it. And I tried to capture in there what I've learned in my years. I'll say my story very quickly because I don't want to belabor this point. I grew up in the wilderness of northern Canada. I left home when I was 13. my education stopped at 13. I don't have any education beyond that except for self-education. And so I went into the wilderness and I helped a mountain man run his trap line. I wore moccasins on my feet, had a fur hat, had a knife on my side. And that was my background. And I was that from 13 years old till 18, 19. So my teenage years were not spent in a high school type situation, certainly not a college situation, where you learn your social graces, you learn the dynamic of men and women. That's your part of your social education. I didn't get it. So I came out of there into the cities of the world, and I liked girls. More than anything in my life, I liked girls. Crazy, huh? I dedicated my life to that subject. And so my 20s, remember this, my teens, I was like in the wilderness. My 20s, I did everything I could to try and understand women. And I tried and failed. There is no story, I promise you this, there's no story you have about being rejected or lost or confused or desiring somebody and they don't want you back that I don't have. I have embarrassing stories from my 20s. Massively embarrassing stories. I did but I stayed. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to understand women. So I spent my whole 20s trying to understand the concept of female energy and women and their relationship to me. Massively rejected across the board. And if something happened, I'd be like, what happened? How did I get lucky on this? I had no clue. No clue. Then about my 30s, because I remember, this is before anything like the seduction community. I'm an old guy, I'm 52. So this is before the internet. This is before there's any kind of instruction or boot camps or workshops or books on the subject at all. There's nothing. I read the memoirs of Casanova. That's all there was. So here I am in my 20s, and I was like so insecure and so lost. I would go to the bar by myself, and I would stand there like, I'm not going to approach a girl. I was too ashamed and too afraid. So I'd be like this, and I'd kind of like lean on the bar till 2 o'clock in the morning when the bar closed, hoping something would happen. I was massively insecure, and that was my 20s. My 30s then, I started to think, because I did my time. I did my 10,000 hours, if you know the concept of that. I did 10,000 hours trying to understand women. I did nothing else. I've had no other hobbies in my entire life. I want to know women. Like I play a bit of guitar, but that's because I want to meet girls. I remember I like the guys, I was in Vancouver and some of the guys from work said, listen, we're going to go on, we have this fishing boat, we're going to go off the coast of Vancouver Island, we're going to cast nets into the sea and go out there for, Captain Ahab, and in 2 weeks we're going to go out there and fight the elements and grow beards, and yeah, I want to do that, yeah, wait, is there going to be girls out there? And I wouldn't go. If there's no girls, I'm not going to go. So that was my whole background. So in my 30s is when things started, the synapses started to fire. And I was like, wait a minute, you just said this to me, girl, and I heard this 100 times before, and it meant something, and I thought it meant this, but I think it means this. I started to get some understanding, homegrown. I had nobody to help me, nobody. So I wrote a book in my 40s. It took me from 40 to 50 years old. The Alabaster Girl. It's everything I've ever learned. Everything I've learned in all those years is in that book. And it's like something vomited out of my system. I had to get it out. So read it, and if you read it, send me a message if you with your comments and thoughts about it. It really is my life work. Well, my next book too. But anyway, so that's my truncated story. Now then, so this concept of men who get it, who move through the land of women with ease, who women say, oh yeah, that's just him. You have to date me 3 times to make sure that you're a good guy, but him, no, he doesn't count. You all know what I'm talking about, right? These guys just like have a free pass from women. How is this possible? It's like women are on the stage and they're giving out all the prizes. You get a prize and you don't. It's like they're the ones in control. Like, and we don't know what's going on. That's why we say have the concept of getting lucky, because we feel, I don't know what happened. Right? I don't know. This girl had sex with me. I don't know why. Right? And a whole community developed around that. Why did that girl, or how to make that girl, or to how to get this girl to blah. Right? And you know, when the community came along, I mean, like, Neil Strauss wrote the book, The Game. I was way back in the day. If you guys know anything about me at all, I was back in the day. I was one of the original guys back then talking about it. And anyway. But I wrote the book. I wrote this book. I'm not kidding, guys. I wrote this book for me. I wrote it for my young self. If I had this when I was 18, 19, if I had somebody to say, you know what, it's going to be okay. And we didn't get it. We didn't have a hero to look up to in our generation. We didn't have a father figure that said, son, this is how you hold an axe. This is how you work on a car, and this is how you treat a woman. We didn't get it. We didn't get that. Our generation has been failed as men. This is why we're scratching our head. This is why we're afraid of the women, because we didn't get that. We didn't get what we've always had in history, which is a rite of passage. We've always had, in all of cultures of all of history, every culture of the world has had a rite of passage, from boys to men. The Sioux Native Americans had the vision quest, and they would take a young man and a boy, and they say, go into the wilderness and speak your name. And you go into the wilderness, he's naked and scared, and he's like cold and afraid, and he'd go out there for days, maybe weeks, and he'd come back after finding his totem animal. This is in a lot of cultures. And then when he came back, they would say, now you can stand with the men. Stand here. The concept, imagine this, the concept of teenager, including the word teenager, did not exist before 1950. The word teenager is invented since 1950. There was no concept of teenager in all of history until now. There was boys and men. And we didn't get that. Our generation has been failed. That's why you're experiencing what you're feeling. Experiencing this loss of connection with women, loss of connection with the female spirit, loss of connection with your masculine edge and your sexual beauty. We've been failed. Our society has let us down. It's not your fault. It's let us down. And so I wrote this book for that little boy who was lost and scared, came out of the wilderness and liked the girls, but was so massively rejected from girls. And tried to be cool. I tried to learn things. Tried to be this guy. Tried to get somebody to like me, and I was so insecure because I thought, who would like me? I didn't have an education. I didn't have who would want me? Everybody else has got this cool car, and I had this feeling all those years. And it's what you learn is this, gentlemen. And I look at you guys and I see myself, I really do. And here's what I'm going to say to you. There is nobody going to help you but you. You look in the mirror, and this is what you do now. You look in the mirror and say, you suck. You know, you tried to talk to that girl last night and she's like, you weren't funny enough and you suck, you're not good enough. And that has got to change. That story has got to change. And it's a simple matter of choosing it, gentlemen. All you have to do is listen, because your father's not there. They're going to tell you it's going to be okay, son. Here's how you be strong. We have no heroes anymore. Our heroes are 18-year-old rap stars. I want to be like that guy who has no clue either. This celebrity culture. So your whole thing from now on, and I mean this very sincerely, is it's up to you to look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye and say, I've got you. It's going to be okay. You have to raise yourself because nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. The Bible says, you know, when I was a child, I spake as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. And it's that critical and that deep and that absolute that has to happen. We're a generation of boys who are trying to date girls and we're Tinder swiping. We're a generation of boys who used to play with PlayStation when we were boys. We play PlayStation now, but now we're having fun. We're not having fun anymore. You see? And I'm saying it strong, and I hope you get it strong, and I hope you feel the energy of what I'm saying because it's to me. It's to myself. I wish I would have had a message, but there's no message for men that's real. This is fundamental. It goes to the core of who we are as men, which is lost in this day and age. An interesting thing happened in the last 30 years. 30-ish years, I don't know. And that is this. For all of history, men, which I see here in the audience, had the concept of duty. You had the duty to your country, duty to your family, duty to your community, duty to your fellow man, duty to your brothers. You had the concept of duty. We had that in our soul, in our system, in our culture, right? The concept of duty. It has been replaced today by the concept of rights. I have the right to do this, and I have the right to not have, and we have this generation that has been protected with their little bike helmets, who grew up and are offended in our universities and offended by everything, and we're little snowflakes. Something's wrong. Something has gone wrong. We're this generation of like fragile beings who need protection. We want everything to protect us because I might be offended. The universities in the West used to teach intellectual pursuits. Now, instead of intellectual education, it's an emotional education. Everything's dedicated to like teach them how to be offended and to take offense. And it's wrong. I'll stand up and I'll say it. And that's, gentlemen, who we are and who you're dating. You see? That what we're missing is our generation is this conviction of men. This desire to imagine this. Our sentences go up at the end. We ask a girl, we say to a girl, hey, listen, it was like, it was nice talking to you. Would you like to go for coffee sometime? Oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a boyfriend. I didn't mean anything by it. In other words, we flinch. We don't say statements anymore. I'm not talking about anything practical, but here's something practical for you. Stop saying questions to women. Start shifting that into statements. By that I mean, imagine if you said to this girl, it was nice talking to you. Would you like to get coffee sometime? That sounds like a great thing of reaching out and talking to women, right? Sounds good. But if you change it into a statement, instead of saying, hey, it was nice talking to you. Would you like to have coffee sometime? You say this. It was nice talking to you. I would like to have coffee with you sometime. Or we should have coffee sometime. Or we should go on Thursday night. What are you doing? Let's cancel your plans. If you change your these queries into statements, subtly what happens in you is something shifts into an energetic leadership role, and she can feel it. Statements instead of questions. Hey, I would like to have coffee. It'd be great. That's a great way of saying it. Make sense? A little bit of like a micro adjustment compared to the microaggressions and triggering that we have in our modern society, which you guys all know. You're all aware of that. Our convictions, we don't draw the line in the sand anymore. We say, listen, to women or to men or to anything, thus far shalt thou go and no further. We're a generation of beige, asexual men. We're closet heterosexuals. Right? Time to come out of the closet. And I'll tell you, like, I'm coming out here strong, guys, because you know what? It's the fight of your lives. I hope you feel the energy of it, because it is that important. It is the fight of your lives. We say we want change, but we don't really. Right? You say you want a girlfriend? No, you don't really. Because you know why? It's easier to complain to yourself and say I'm not good enough than it is to go out there and actually meet women. There's entire programs and webinars and seminars devoted to this concept of approach anxiety, or the fear of rejection. I have the fear of rejection. I don't want to talk to girls about fear of rejection. Because what if she has a boyfriend, right? The fear of rejection. But you know what is even stronger, I think, for men in this generation? The fear of success. Because what if she likes you? What if you went up there and you said, hey, I like you're pretty and I like you. What if she likes you? Now, you have to be interesting and dynamic and stop playing World of Warcraft on the weekends and hang out with a girl. So you sabotage yourself. I don't do that. So like the fear of success is just as strong, or maybe more strong, than the fear of failure. Because you're used to your security blanket that's cold and moldy and wet and holding you down, but you're used to it. To throw it off is scary. It's scary. Your comfort zone is you see? We're afraid of that. Fear of success. It's that important. It's the fight of your lives. I went to Panama when I was writing this book. I went there for 4 months to sit in the jungle and work on my book. I sat in the same shorts and t-shirt for like 4 months, sweating my everything off. And I came out of there from the people who have very little anything, but they're happy people. And I went into Amsterdam to do a major seminar. After 4 months in the jungle, I went there. And all I could think the whole time was this me-centric generation. Reality TV, self-help, multi-billion-dollar industry. What are you going to do for me? This is the women of the world. What are you going to do for me? Where are we going to be in 5 years? What does this mean? It's all me. We're navel-gazing. We're centered on ourselves. There's no sense of communion with brothers and sisters, and there's no communion anymore at all. Even though we think we're on Facebook, and we're not. There's no sense of connection. And you can feel it. You feel it everywhere. There's no sense of gathering and brothers in arms and any of this kind of stuff. And me-centric generation, we're overladen with if you watch a lot of porn, which probably a lot of guys in the audience do, you turn it off at the end, and what do you see reflected in the screen? You. Just you. And that hurts. That hurts. You feel it right here. It's just you there. That's it. This is where our failing is. This is my crusade. That's why I wrote a book for my young self, so if I only had those answers then, when I was being insecure and not sincere and manipulative and trying to be this cool guy. If only I had this. So, the question to ask yourself, gentlemen, a big question, a fundamental question, which is the question of my next book, is this. What exists because of you? What a thought, huh? What a thought. What exists? Do you feel the energy of that? Everything else is small. Girl doesn't text you back, that's small. What exists because of you? So my whole thing that I've been trying to understand and trying to talk about is the polarity which we've lost in this world of men being men and women being women. The masculine edge of the masculine spirit of men is a thrusting nature. It's a penetrative energy. We can't penetrate our women. We can't penetrate our lives. We can't penetrate our businesses. We're like, oh, we're apologetic. It's okay. It's good enough. We're beige. We can't penetrate anymore. And I'll say this, it's politically incorrect, and I'll get slammed for it, and I don't care. The energy of women is a receiving energy. To receive that penetration, to receive that masculine energy into the feminine spirit, and to rebirth it, to give it rebirth. The true feminine spirit, which is gone from the earth, just like the true masculine spirit is gone from the earth, the true feminine spirit is a regenerative, life-giving energy. And if you have, and I know you have, if you've ever been in the presence of a woman that has just even 10% of that beautiful feminine grace, you'll never forget her till the day you die. Am I right? Some woman that was just kind and gave you of her generous feminine spirit breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. If you make love to a beautiful woman that is way out of your league, quote unquote, who's a beautiful, generous energy of receiving your masculine spirit and giving you the rebirth that we crave, if you're in bed with that woman and she gives you that energy, you almost cry. It breaks your heart. And it's rare as a tiger lily. It's rare. It's a rare spirit. When you make love to a beautiful woman, imagine this, guys, all is forgiven. All the rejections you had, all the mistakes you made talking to women, all the mess ups you made when you thought, it's all forgiven. Everything's forgiven. You reset. That's, like I said, it's politically incorrect. I'll say it. You know, like if I worked if I was a professor, I'd lose my tenure. If I was working in a media or something, I'd lose my job. I can't, so I'll say it. This is the receiving role of women. And there's countless women out there trying to restore that balance too, believe me. You hear all this strong feminist, bitchy agenda, you hear all the strong men beating their chests, painting their faces, take back the power from women. That's 20% of the voices, guys. 80% is the silent majority of men and women who really want restoration, want a beautiful balance again, of polarity of men and women, of this beautiful magnetic energy that attracts. We don't have that. We have sameness. We are all born under this so-called second wave equality movement. And the goal of the equality movement was equality. And we didn't get it. 60 years later, we still don't have equality. We have sameness. Men are more like women, women are more like men. And there's no attraction in that at all. We go to our offices and you have to be eyes front. If you comment, hey, I like you, hey, you look nice today, sexual harassment. You can't even say that. You offended me and I have protection powers to take a dump on you because of that. Right? So we have to be asexual underneath the fluorescent lights in our offices, asexual, eyes front, everyone has no gender, and then you're supposed to turn it on the weekend when you go out? There you go. That's our problem. You can't. And then I hear a guy say to me this, well, women are mean. They're not nice. Yeah, well, women have their own work to do, gentlemen. We can't wait for them. It's up to you. It's up to you to stand on this earth and say, you know what, no more. I want to have a great path of life. I want to have a spirit of adventure, spirit of treasure hunting, spirit of mystery, spirit of I like nice things. You look like a nice thing. What's your name? Women are mean and they're rejecting and they're the ones in power and they're the ones that pick, I like you, but I don't like these guys. We seemingly think. But women are not to blame. Women are no more enlightened or aware than you are. They're just as lost and confused and scratching their head too. This is our modern age. And it's time for a generation of men to say no more. Let's stand on this earth, not in a fight against women, not in a fight against this energy, but in a reclamation of the beautiful God-given gift of masculine sexuality. In our Western world, if you're a man, you're this close to being a rapist. And we need on college campuses and in universities and in organizations programs to teach you how not to rape. That's a sin. That's a sin. Fight it with everything you've got, because that's a sin. That's wrong. If you go near a playground, you're a pedophile. That's you pedophiles. I can see pedophile eyes here everywhere. You see that? That's wrong. I don't buy it. I'll fight against it. I don't care who says anything about me. I don't care. It's a fight of our lives. But it's not a fight against women. Remember that. Women are lost too. Women have been sold a bill of goods too. Women have been taught the wrong things. It's not a fight against that. It's a fight for a new spirit of regeneration. It's men and women and the polarity, which is a beautiful thing. Today we're all gender fluid. I identify, that's okay. I talk in absolutes. I talk about men being men, women being women, and there's other people who identify with different things. That's okay. I don't talk about that. I'm talking about extremes, and I'm extreme. And I get blasted by feminists say, well, I don't care. I'll say it anyway. Because they know. No, because I know that there's a volume. And I'll tell you this, guys, you've been with bad women who've been mean to you, who've been vindictive and bitchy and petty and small-minded and all these things, just like this vindictive, bitchy, petty, small-minded men. In all the years, in all my time, I've ever met women who are like mean, not good-spirited women, not nice people. I've met a lot of women who have gracious hearts. And there's a lot of them out there. So believe it. Don't lose hope, because I don't lose hope. And then guys say to me, well, because I've been saying, I wrote in my book, I said, you know what? Head toward the light and only the light. I don't talk about like social, I'm talking about tonight, but I don't talk about social conditions and what's happening in the world today and politics and stuff like that, because I want to focus on the light. What's beautiful? What is beauty? This book is, if somebody said to me in an elevator, what's your book about in one word? I'm not kidding, I would say it's about beauty. We're missing beauty in art, in architecture, in everything. We've lost the aesthetic thing, which we used to have from the Greeks and the Romans with the golden rectangle, and everything had to be in proportion, and beauty was one of the elements with truth and everything else that was revered. And not today. And everything's all like, art is a cow cut in sections. And an artist taking a shit in a can. That's art. Right? We've lost aesthetic, it's true. We've lost aesthetic beauty, and my mission is to speak, to reclaim that. So that's your mission too. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I hope you can get this. I hope you can feel the energy of what I'm trying to say, because it's up to you. And if you can take this mission into your heart to speak truth to women, say, you know what? This is how it is. This is who I am. I'm nervous to talk to you, but I want to talk to you anyway. Your life will change, and the world will change. We're waiting for for women to be nice to us. We're waiting for things to change and be better. It's not going to happen. It's up to you. This is for you guys. This is for you. Do you feel it? It's for you. It's for my young self when I was 19 and lost and crying for girls. This is for you. It's for you, absolutely for you. We say, well, I can't live a life of adventure and because I have to first do that. In all of history, gentlemen, we said, okay, I had this bad childhood. So like this is why I'm insecure and I have this bad childhood. In all of history, was there ever a time of good childhoods? There was disease and pestilence and migration and wars and famine. Every child before you grew up seeing destruction and death and disease and trouble and famine, starvation, getting thrust out of homes. And we're whining. There has never been happy children, happy childhoods, ever. There's been trauma in all childhoods. And we have to resolve our childhood? I don't think so. You have to go to therapy to resolve your childhood? No, you don't. You're abused, you're abandoned, we all were, gentlemen. in all of history. We stand on the earth and say, no more, no more. It's your job. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to give you that lift up. Here's what you do. You look in the mirror. Instead of saying, you suck, you're not good for anything, nobody will ever love you, you look in the mirror and you say this. Say this is your new thing that you call yourself from now on. I'm a student of life. If you can call yourself a student of life from this day forward to the day you die, you can do no wrong. If you talked to a girl last night and she's like, and you go home and instead of saying, you know what, you suck, you should have been more funny, you should have been more, you can say, hey, at least I'm a student of life. Were you sincere when you talked to that girl last night? Were your heart sincere? Were you trying to be nice and trying to be interesting and trying to be funny, right? You were sincere. And she's shutting you down and being bitchy to you. You can go home and say, at least I'm a student of life. At least I showed up. Now, if you're sincere, you can do no wrong. You did nothing to beat yourself up about. You showed up. You showed up as a man. Hey, at least I like nice girls. I'm trying to see if you're a nice girl. I get it that you're not. That's okay too. I will move my energy somewhere else. We want security, you know, like this generation, I get guys ask me all the time, how do I, I want to live a life of adventure and go into this world. But first I have to save up all this money and I have to imagine this 200 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years ago, 500 years ago, guys are going into wooden ships. There was no medical insurance. They didn't have savings. Going into whatever. They didn't have a backup plan. They didn't have plan B. They didn't have okay, at least I can go to an ATM and get some cash out. Call my parents if I get in trouble. It's strong, guys. I hope you can feel what I'm trying to say because I wish I had it. It's a message to me. I promise you that. This is why women will go have sex with you because they're horny and you smell nice and there's nobody else and she's ovulating. She'll have sex with you, but she doesn't think, is she thinking about you the next day? The question I asked myself when I was young, I thought, this popped into my mind and it shocked me and it broke my heart and made me cry, which is this. There's only one woman here. Hello, dear. Sorry. There's only one woman here, but I'll say this. Every woman is thinking about somebody. Imagine that. My question I asked myself when I was young, I looked in the mirror and I said, because it hit me hard, I said, wait a minute. Have you ever been a woman's fantasy? If not, why not? She's thinking about somebody. When she's in the shower, she's in her bed, she's daydreaming out the window, she's excited about somebody. She's fantasizing about some guy. Is it, I said this to me, is it you? Has it ever been you? Ask yourself that question. Is there a woman out there in this world right now who's fantasizing about you as she's laying in bed? She's having a sexual fantasy about you? If not, why not? Because they're thinking about somebody. This is the energy we have to fight for. This is where we're going. And this is the only place to go. And I believe in it 100%. And I believe in it for you 100%. I really do. Security, we want this, we have one assurance is, if you want security, go out here in Miami and kill somebody. You'll have maximum security. You'll have every meal covered, right? You have security. You want security? There you go. Tennessee Williams said, security is a kind of death. If you have this, and if you have the impulse and the energy and the thought process and the gut is saying, I can't do this job anymore. I have to go and fight for something else. You have to follow with all your heart. No matter don't worry about money. Money will follow you. Don't wait to have savings. That'll find. If you go, it's going to find you. You think, well, if I go out and follow my dreams, I'll be living under a bridge and sleeping in a cardboard box and pushing a shopping cart. But I tell you this, the guy told this to me like years ago, and it's true. Nobody who's living under a bridge, pushing a shopping cart, and sleeping in a cardboard box is there because he followed his dreams. Nobody. I saw an interview with Morgan Freeman, and he said, when I was Morgan Freeman, a revered actor, an actor's actor, and when he was young, he said, you know what, the acting wasn't working, and I tried, and I couldn't get any jobs, and I was so broke and so hungry, I was living in my car, and I said, I have to quit acting. But he said, I kept going, and he said, the lesson I learned, because I kept going, was this. If you keep going, he said this, if you step your foot into nothing, your foot will always hit something. And he said this, which is remarkable. Remember what I'm about to say. He said this, what I learned is if you continue with beyond the point of hope and beyond the point of redemption, beyond the point of any possibility of continuance, if you keep going, whatever it is, somebody will come into your life and give you the next step. Not something, somebody will arrive in your life, give you the next step. That's the way it works. The way it works. Absolutely, it works that way. So like I'll say this. I'll take questions at the end, but I got 30 minutes left. I know I'm talking very philosophical, but I hope you guys get the energy and I hope you can feel what I'm trying to say, because I mean it with all my heart. I really do. There's nothing else you need to know. There's nothing else you need to know. All the techniques and all this, like talk to this girl, and stand with your shoulders like this, and like go like this, and none of it matters. If you're heading into the size of your life, the size of your problems is the size of your life. Imagine that. If your problem is, how do I get this girl to text me back? What do I do? Or how do I pay my phone bill? That's as large as your life is going to get. If your problem is, how do I get some clean water into this village in Africa? That's a lot, your life is a lot bigger. Things like the girl not texting you back and your phone bill, that doesn't matter. Take care of itself. The size of your problem is the size of your life. So, I'll say a little bit of a metaphor, and I hope you guys get it, because what I tried to capture in here, and it's so powerful, I tried to write about the energy of men who women adore. They get a free pass. I tried to write about what is it, what do they have, what is the qualities that they have, what is the spirit that they have. And you know, if you start from here, which is the center of gravity as a man here, I don't know anything about chakras, but if you do, imagine your center, whatever, chest, heart chakra. You start from an energy force from here as a man, okay? This is incredibly important. You start from here like this. Your energy as a man moves out into the world from here. And it goes up and out. It goes like this. And it's a beautiful masculine energy. This is you being charming, being humorous, being inviting, being gracious. This is you saying, would you like some more wine? This is you saying, hey, can I get your coat for you? This is you telling a joke. And this is you, hey guys, nice to meet you. This is a great, beautiful, upper energy, masculine beauty. Charm, empathy, sympathy, humor, all these beautiful qualities of man. Comes from here and moves out into the world. Imagine you're on a job interview. Everything about you is high. You're sitting across the table from the interview. Yes, I did this. And even your eye contact is high. You can feel it, right? You're like lifting, you're straight up as an arrow like this, and you're like, yes, and yeah. And then I did this, and yeah. And everything is high energy, and it's a beautiful energy. It's a beautiful masculine energy. And it's needed. Okay? Now imagine from the same center of gravity here, your same heart, or originating place, there's an equal counterbalancing energy that is necessary to be a man. This is an energy that goes down and out into the world. It's low on the floor. It vibrates. It has a vibration. Everything's about is lower. Your voice is lower, everything's lower. This is your sexual desire, which in the West is a bad thing. Toxic. You rapist. Right? This is you wanting to bend the world over. This is you seeing a heart-shaped ass and say, I like this. I like that. That's your, and I tell you this, it's given to you by God. You fail, God, women, men, society, everything, when you block off that energy, which we all do. Our Western society has been taught, you eyes front, respectful, don't have any kind of this sexual energy at all, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Your sexual energy that moves onto it's kind of like bass that flows on the floor, boom, boom, boom. And women can feel it. They can feel it when they're in the energy of a man who has that sexual vibration that floats on the floor. But here's the key. And here's the key. You need both. Both energies. If you're only this upper energy guy, which all the dating advice out there, all the mainstream media, how to be more humorous, how to take Toastmasters, how to tell a joke, how to be more storytelling, how to be more interesting, how to be where to take a girl on a date, is all of the instruction for men is how to be more of this nice guy upper energy. If you're only upper energy, when you say to a girl, hey, I like you, would you like to go for coffee? And she says, I have a boyfriend. You're top heavy and you fall over. You flinch. Oh, I didn't mean anything by it. You didn't mean anything by it? I have a boyfriend. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know he had a boyfriend. You're sorry because she had a boyfriend? Okay, I respect that, and I'm doing my job as a man. So this upper energy is what's being taught. This is why we have a generation of nice guys. You're either in your basement suite playing World of Warcraft, not going out and meeting girls, or you're being taught upper energy things, which are good things, but if they don't have the counterbalance of that beautiful lower thrusting energy, that spanking energy, if you don't have that, then you're a nice guy. Women are dating nice guys, and men are learning, okay, how to go down on a woman, how to, her anatomy. They're reading all these books and programs and how to please a woman, how to massage her with right oils and candles for the right. They're pleasing women. And women say, I want that guy. Yeah, sign me up. No, you don't. You don't want that guy. Guy goes down on you for 45 minutes. You could get yourself off in 2 minutes with your fingers. But it's nice. It feels good. It's cool. But there's nothing in him that makes you think, this guy's incredible. You see? Nothing in us that makes women say, wow, I can't stop thinking about that guy. He's not very... That's what's missing. So, and if you're only lower energy, you're a creep. If you don't have it balanced, if you're the sexual guy, looking at women's boobs, and you don't have it balanced with charm and humor and empathy and kindness and full respect, you're a creep. But if you have both, our generation has only upper energy. There you go. That's what we have. Welcome to my history. Only upper energy. So afraid to show that we have this sexual desire too, which is, like I said, given by God. So afraid to show it. In society, you can't say it. Oh, no, that's bad. Right? Is this landing with you guys? Makes sense? This is why we're here. It's why we have this problem in our lives, which we're trying to sort this thing out. It's why women are going, where's the real men? Every country I go in the world, the women are saying, where are the real men? Women are doing both roles. They're being the man and the woman because the men are not showing up. Woody Allen said this 80% of success is just showing up. And we're not doing that. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, we have pickup artist guys out there saying, listen, they take you out and you pay me money and I'll take you out. I'll send you to 25 different sets. Okay? At the end of the night, you think, this is incredible. I had 19 rejections and 6 girls smiled at me, or 3 girls smiled at me and 2 gave me their phone number. It's incredible. Whatever you taught me works incredibly. We think that's powerful. But you know what he did? He took you out of your basement suite and he fired you into the land of women for the first time maybe in your life. If you did it yourself, you went out there and said, I'm going to talk to 25 girls tonight. What's today? Saturday? Friday. If you went out tonight and said, I'm going to go up to 25 girls and say, hi, I'm Zan. That's all I know. And you look cute. I want to say hi. If you did it 25 times, you're going to get 19 girls say, flick, flick, lint. Right? You're going to get that. But you're also going to get girls go, oh, that's nice to meet you. And you're going to get girls say, well, I like you. It's the way it works. But we don't do it because we think we're not good enough. Showing up, that's it. It's, if you went up, and women have told me this over the years, if you went up to women and say, listen, I'm really nervous to talk to you because you're beautiful to me, but I want to say hi. What's your name? You know how many women have told me, that's endearing to me? They don't care if you're nervous. They care if you have a hidden agenda, you're trying to be cool. They don't care about an agenda, they care about a hidden agenda. You see? So this upper and lower energy, guys, does that make sense? It's like a tree that has foliage and birds and flowers. And it's a great masculine energy, and you need to learn more of that. That's good. Toastmasters, learn how to be more funny, stuff like that. But if it isn't counterbalanced with the roots that go down low, which is your dark forest, your mystique, your desire to bend the world over. If women can't feel that from you, if women can't feel, listen, you're cute and your girlfriend's cute and I like you, and I would like to know your names, and I would like to meet you again, and if you come near me, I'm going to bend you over, that's true, and you're going to like it. If they can't feel that, you're a nice guy. They need to feel that energy, that they need to feel, I'll say this, and it's not politically correct, this on camera is true, but take the context of what I'm saying, the whole thing. If they can't feel your danger, the dangerous part of you, they'll let you go down on them. They'll date you, but they don't lust after you. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't think about you like speaking Chinese when you're in their head. And that's the only place to go. So all the things like we say, well, listen, I'm going to talk to this girl and I'm going to say this. I'm going to put my shoulders like this and then I'm going to turn away like this and I'll go back. All that is a approximation of like a real man saying, you know what, I'm nervous, but I want to come say hi to you, and what's your name, what's your friend's name? And I like you, and I don't know why. We compliment a girl on her eyes, oh, or her hair. Oh, you have such beautiful blah, 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 blah. This nice guy, right? And then we learn, you can't do that. You can't compliment because it's too needy. So we stop doing that, and so we start like knocking them down a bit, right? I compliment highly. But you know what I compliment women on? And it's the truth, because it's the truth of what I see. I don't compliment on her eyes. She's heard it all her life, her hair or whatever. I say, because what I'm attracted to is the energy of a woman and the way she moves. She's wearing a dress and the way that dress moves around her body. And I compliment that. If you guys want to change your relationship with women, compliment her energy. Say, you know what, I'm going to say this to you. I don't know who you are. I'm Zan. You have a great, there's something about you. I was over there with my friends, and I had to come over and say hi to you because something about your energy, something about your aura. It's incredible. She's never been complimented on that before. And that's what it is that's attractive to you, or attractive to you. I'll say this last thing, and then I can take a couple questions, because I got a few minutes. I said I started out my life to try and understand the energy of men who women adore. Men who have women in their lives all the time. Women take care of them. They love them, right? You know what it is, the number one? Well, it's complex, but I'll try and sum it into a little simple thing. The men of all of history who have women in their lives, who love them and take care of them, have two qualities. Counterbalancing, remember upper lower energy I talked about? They have this. There's simultaneously two women, a father figure that says, don't cross this line. I like you, don't do this. I don't like that. I like you, but I don't like your behavior. Imagine that. What a phrase to say. What a phrase to say to a beautiful woman. You know, I'm going to say this to you. I like you, and I don't like this behavior. I don't like it. but I like you. Powerful. So there's a father figure that says to put her in her place. Don't cross this line because this is the way I want it to be, my dear. It's kind. It's gentle. It's invitational. It's sweet. You're not like, oh, I don't like this when you blah, 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 blah. It's none of that kind of energy. It's like, listen, baby, listen. I like you. I don't like this behavior. Don't do it again. Look at my eyes. Don't do it again. That father figure is saying, no, don't do it. No, I don't like it. Powerful men that have women in their lives have that spirit. At the same time, they have the spirit of these little boys who are lost. And it calls to the life-giving mother essence of women, which they have. I don't care what modern society and media says, they have it. In other words, there's a little boy caught in the cookie jar like this, and mother walks in, and he's standing on the stool like this, and she goes, what are you doing? And he goes, okay, well, you're so cute, you can have a cookie. In other words, the strongest men with women are men who say, don't cross this line, I don't like it, I don't like that behavior. And they're simultaneously little boys who are like needing help and they can't adjust their collar, and women have to wash behind their ears. And like, if you're only this cool guy who's got 100% figured out, and you don't give the women the chance, the woman in your life, the relationship in your life, to take care of you and to inspire you and to be that woman for you, you rob her of everything. She wants to take care of you too. And that's why women in relationship will start drama and start fights and start poking at the guy, because there's no energy. He's just like this flatline guy. So they try and cause a drama or cause a fight or cause some kind of like trouble because of that. So this is the conclusion that I've ever come in my life. I've never heard anybody in my life say it. Men who love women are loved by women. That's the way it works. They get a free pass. Now this, if the men of all of history who have women who just like, oh, that's just him, he gets away with it, you have to prove something to me. No, that's just him. He's on our side. He's on our side. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's men who get a free pass. What? It's because they have this strong father figure energy. Don't. Here's how I want it to be, baby. I want it to be like this, and that's what I want it to be. And I will not bend on that. Instead of following her around, we hear about this leadership energy. Guys are being taught this. If you want to do something, you tell the girl, I want to do this. I choose this movie. But there's no point in that. With my girlfriend, I say, hey, baby, listen, let's go to a movie tonight. What would you like? Do you have a preference? Because I don't care. And right? And if she says, I'm not sure this one, then I decide. Okay, I'll decide. Let's go. So there's still a give and take. There's still an energy of that. You see? I'm not demanding my way or the highway. No, not at all. I love my girl. You want to do this? Okay, baby, let's go. I'll go with you because I like you and I want to do it. So that strong leadership energy says, no, don't cross. But if she crosses the line, I don't like it, baby. Listen to me. Listen to my voice. Look at my eyes. I don't like it. I like you, but don't do this. I don't want it in my life. I don't want this energy around me. Don't do it. You see? At the same time, if you give that, I'm emphasizing this point, I know. If you give her the ability to take care of you and her mother instinct comes out, there's something called the warrior's repose. Imagine this, an Aztec warrior out there fighting battles, fighting warriors, fighting other warriors and going on battle, which you have this spirit of like going out there, and he comes back into the tent with his woman, and he crawls into her lap like a cat. This fierce warrior. And he puts his head on her lap and she's stroking his hair and says, it's going to be okay. That's what we're missing. That's what we're craving from women. The warrior's repose. You go out there and you fight battles and you fight your warrior, and you come back and she has the grace and the feminine energy to rebirth you and say, it's going to be okay. We want that, and we're missing it across the board. Modern women are saying, well, what are you going to do for me? And blah, blah, what do you do for a living? And modern men are like, It's all broken. But take heart, because it's going to change. It's going to change. I feel it. It's going to change. I talk all over the world. I talk to different groups. And it can't sustain. It's going to change. Anyway, I talked a lot. I got a few minutes left for any questions.
Who's got questions for Zan?
Hi, girls in the back. Hello.
How rude,
Hey, really great talk. I especially love the end piece about the warriors and poets. And I was just hoping that you could speak towards, so I'm someone, when I first meet someone, I have a lot of, a wide range of interests and ways in which I can act authentically. And can you explain, how you transition from the warrior to the poet when you're just meeting someone, so it doesn't come off as you're being incongruent with yourself totally, if that makes sense?
Yeah, kind of. I think, I don't know, it's a simultaneous thing. If you feel the energies of both that, whatever you're talking about, the poet and the warrior, and you express it to her, that's powerful. That's a powerful thing. I'm a big advocate of speaking your truth, whatever's going on in the moment. I believe it. If I like a girl, I say, I like you. I don't know why, but I like you. If I want her in my bed, I want you in my bed. That's what I know. Hello, what's your name? You'd be a great lover for me. I say it. So to speak that, what you're talking about, is there is no transition, is what I'm trying to say. You're simultaneously both. And you forgive yourself everything. All seeming mistakes. And I think that's a powerful takeaway I hope you guys get. You forgive yourself every seeming mistake, because we think we're not good enough, but we're more than good enough. And I'm not kidding about that, guys. I am not kidding about that. I hope you get that. I hope you really receive that. Any other questions? No?
I got some questions. So you have always been known about talking about ease and delight.
Yeah.
How would you put that in a nutshell? How does one live a life of ease and delight?
You know what? I tell you this. I guess it goes back maybe to the Stoics, who talked about, it goes back to the book of Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. All is vanity, says the preacher. King Solomon went out there and found he had 500 concubines and 300 wives. He had riches above all the riches. He had wisdom above wisdom. And he writes the book, the Ecclesiastes, which is, I sought all of this in this world, and all is vanity. By that it means none of it matters. The sun rises on the rich and the poor, the good and the bad. Imagine this. Mark Twain said this: when you die, they memorialize you for an hour and forget you forever. When you die, everything, all your possessions are going to disappear like the wind. And here's the truth. Nobody's going to remember you. That's the truth. What a shocking thought. When I look at it, I'm from Canada, so I grew up in the wilderness with no sense of history, with no old buildings. The people in Europe have all this history that they grew up in, and they take it for granted. And when I see a portrait, I see a photo of a woman from 1880. She's smiling like this with a glass of wine, looking at a black and white photo of this woman. I'm thinking, she's young and pretty, she's probably 21 years old. And she's 100% forgotten today. Gone. And that shocks my mind. How is that possible that all she dreamed and all she loved and everything she tried to create things and stuff like that, and it's all gone and forgotten. In other words, whatever you're in your head about, whatever you're trying to micromanage, means nothing. It absolutely, it means nothing. This is it. This is your last life. This is it. We're waiting for something else to happen. We're waiting for women to be nice finally. It's not going to happen. We're waiting. If not now, then when? That was from a Greek philosopher. If not now, then when? Ask yourself that. If not now, then when? Well, when I save up some money. If not now, then when? I'm telling you guys, this is a call to leadership. This is the fight of your lives. There's no more time. When I came out of Nicaragua, my concept was this. And I wrote this phrase. It's in my book, and you're going to see it in my book because it affected me greatly. It's this. Every great life has had a great renunciation. Every great life, I'll say that again. Every great life has had a great renunciation. We're this self-help generation. Everybody here has got self-help books sitting on their shelf. You've got programs you've signed up to try and understand something about yourself. And it's not necessary to read the book. It's enough that I bought it and it's sitting on the shelf. I got the answer right there, yeah. Right? We buy these books, we don't read them because, but there's the answer right there. And when we read that book, we read the next one, and read the next one, we go to the next program, we go to the next weekend conference, we go to all these conferences, we do all this kind of stuff. Chasing that. But I'm telling you, that is not enough. That is not enough. I said it earlier, if it's going to take everything you've got and more. If you want to have a life, if you want women to look at you like, who's this guy? Go into the wind and speak your name, like I said earlier. Go climb a mountain and don't tell a soul that you did it. Go into the world and hang around your heroes. Go seek them out. Say, well, I wanted to learn something. I want to fight for something. I want to. That's where you go. That's the power. It's that important. Every great life has had a great renunciation. What does that mean, renunciation? To renounce things in your life that keep you small. That means your parents' expectations, the college education. Well, I took this education. I should continue with computer science, even though I don't like it. Renounce it all. Renounce anything that keeps you small. That's not a politically correct thing to say, but I mean it with everything. Another question? We got another 5 minutes. Yes?
What would you say to the audience who's not used to hearing this message because of the generation they've grown up in? And maybe the first response is to, what the hell is this guy? A rejection of this, what my opinion is a very strong and a message I agree with. What would you say as we leave that they could, if I may, renew their mind with this message and steps?
Well, I'll say this.
Because many would say, it's too big. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah. Okay, because this is important. Because I want guys to know that they're sitting in their seat here. They're going back to Pump Handle, Iowa, or wherever they live, where there's no girls, right? And you work at your father's accounting firm. And I don't want to say, hey, you can be all you can be. Just be yourself, which is like, that's the same as saying, hey, just follow a budget. It means nothing to us. We all know what it conceptually means, we can't do it. Just be yourself. What kind of advice is that? Be unattached to the outcome. How can you be unattached to the outcome of this beautiful girl when you're horny? You can't. How can you be unattached to that? It's like you want love, you want somebody to touch you, you want that comfort, human comfort. How can you be unattached to that? Oh yeah, it's artificial. So all these trite sayings, they mean nothing. We post them on Facebook, right? We make it like a little image and post it as a quote. It means nothing. So your question is very strong and very powerful. And all I can say is this: awareness is curative. Just by becoming aware that if I knew this, guys, when I was young, when I was trying to figure it out, when I was so lost and lonely, awareness is curative. Awareness has the answer in it. Just by being knowledgeable that maybe there's a better path for you will cure you. You don't know your next step. I get that. You don't know what you want. I get that too. You don't know how you want yourself to be. That's okay too. But just to know. I mean, you're hearing the other speakers here, like guys like Brian, who, you know, there's pathfinders out there who marked the trees for you and fought through the elements and, you know, chased the grizzly bear away. You could follow the path a bit, which is great. I had nobody to say anything to me when I was young. It's a deficit I had. I didn't have a father figure. Didn't have a hero to look up to. And if you can get any kind of like traction or any kind of, by reading this book or listening to guys like Brian or the other speakers who've beaten down some of the trees and paths before you, man, you can accelerate. It took me 10 years of confusion from 19 to 29, then 10 years of like, from 29 to 39, and then 10 years of writing and trying to write it down and refine it from 39 to 49. If you can get any kind of jump start on it, I wish I would have had it. That's why I believe in everything I'm saying. I wish I had it when I was young. I don't know if I answered your question, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, the question is, like, in this generation, that we don't believe it for ourselves. You might believe it, but others might not. I believe it for you. I really do.
It's just not a message being taught or schools or church.
No, and it needs to be.
Correct.
It needs to be taught in schools.
You're 21 and you've grown up for 10 years hearing this message, and all of a sudden you hear the message
Yeah.
shared.
It's
So that's why I kind of use the words renewing your mind.
Yeah.
That you could possibly use.
And maybe it's confusing. I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing you guys. Maybe. But you know what? I'll tell you this, and I'll say it quickly. I spent my 20s, I'm not kidding, to learn how to be a seducer of women. This is on film, but I'll say it anyway. And I was good. I could talk a woman into bed. Give me a glass of wine and a woman for an hour. She might be married or have a boyfriend, and it's not going to happen, but I can make her go. I know how to talk to women. I spent my days, I said, I'm this lost little boy. I'm going to figure out how to be this great lover of women. I'm going to be the greatest lover a woman's ever known. I'm going to be the greatest seducer a woman's. I'm going to learn how to seduce women. And I headed down that path to the point where I could talk to women, and I know what she's thinking. I could say the next thing. I could adjust things around what I wanted my worldview to be. And what you learn over the years is the greatest essence of seduction and the greatest attraction quotient you have is to be authentic. And simplicity to me is incredible these days. I don't weave words. I wrote a book. I'm a wordsmith. I love words. My book's very poetic. I like this kind of like, but I don't weave words when I talk to women. I say it simply. I lay it down. Everything I say to a woman is like a tennis ball I hit on her side of the court. Boom. You can do whatever you want with it, dear. I say to her, I like you. I want to see you again. That's all I know. Boom. She can pick up the ball and walk off the court. She can take off. She can hit it back, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. I did my job as a man. I showed up. So for me, it's like, did I do my job as a man? That's why I can't get rejected. Not possible. If I say to a girl, listen, I like you, and your friend's cute, and what's your name? And she goes like this. At least I did my job as a man. I showed up in the world. Hey, I'm good. If you compliment a woman and say, hey, there's something, you look beautiful to me, and your friend is beautiful, it's up to her now. The ball is in her court. Here's the thing about compliments. Compliments, and this is why they're so bad. Can't compliment a beautiful woman, she's heard all her life, is because compliments have nothing to do with her and everything to do with you. So I say to this girl, hey, you have such beautiful eyes, can I buy you a drink? You're so beautiful, you're such beautiful. That has nothing to do with her at all. It's like me trying to say something and buy her a drink so she likes me. In other words, my compliment is saying, I'm going to say this to you and I hope you like me back. I hope you like me. And a man who likes beautiful things in this world will say to this beautiful girl, you know what, I'm saying this to you, you are a true beauty, and I like the way you look, and I want to say that, and it lands, and you leave it. So, I don't know if I went on a rabbit trail there or what. I think I've got 30 seconds left. All right, guys.
Thank you very much, Sam. Carry on.
Welcome back to the 21 Convention of Orlando, Florida 10-year anniversary special event. Our next speaker is an alumni speaker returning for now his second time to the 21 Convention stage. He first spoke last year in Miami, Florida, again at the 21 Convention main event. When people ask me about this next speaker, there's one thing I repeatedly say, which sounds kind of odd, but I mean it, which is why I keep saying it again and again and again. At 29 years old, I think I've met more dating coaches and coaches in that area of life than anyone else alive who's my age or younger. I've met literally hundreds. And there's only one man in the world who, when I'm physically around him, I feel my game is like literally better, noticeably better. I don't mean like more confident or anything simplistic like that. Like I actually can communicate with women better, being within 50 feet of the guy. Like an aura or something, which again sounds like kind of odd or spiritual woo-woo, but I mean it. This guy, his love of women and of beauty is intense and real, and you feel it being around him. Whether it's here in this room, we're out and about at Whole Foods, Miami, we're hanging out and shit. Anyway, without further ado, please help me welcome for his second time to the stage, Zam Perrione. Thanks, Zam. Welcome back.
Thank you, brother. Wow. That was very kind. I've been speaking a lot over the years, 15 years, and I thought for the last couple of days, what am I going to talk about? And I'm kind of at a loss, strangely enough. It's, because like in my 20s, maybe you guys know my story, maybe you don't, I won't go into it now. But in my 20s, I was completely lost and alone and needy and insecure. Can we turn me up? Or no, oh, I see, I have to speak. Sorry. Okay. In my 20s, just a long time ago, and I would go out by myself to the bars, to the clubs, to the lounges, by myself to try and understand myself, and I was insecure, but I never gave up. I kept going. You hear my story in another place, I won't go into it now. I was massively needy, to the point where girls would go on a date with me, and then they're like, I don't want to see this guy anymore. And I was so lost and alone, and I spent my 20s in that range. In my 30s, where because I kept going, is when the light bulbs kind of go, like every now and then I go, wait a minute. The girl said this to me. I've heard that 20 times before, and really, maybe it means this. So I started to learn and started to get some little aha moments. I never had any startling epiphanies or big giant leaps. So my 30s was like kind of like small incremental light bulb. That was back in the day before, is it true? Before the internet discussions. And so there was I had no help. I had nobody to look up to. I had nobody to turn to. I had nobody to say, this is how you do it, and it's going to be okay. And so my 30s was like starting to get like some kind of understanding, because I did nothing else but try and understand the hearts and minds and arms of women. That's all I wanted to know. And so my 40s is when I hit the road. I quit my corporate job. I wandered out into the earth, carry-on bag only, And I traveled and I consolidated and refined and understood and conversed and spent time trying to distill what I'd learned about the hearts of women. And my 40s, I traveled and I wrote a book about it. I wrote a book called The Alabaster Girl. And it took me 10 years to write, from 40 to 50. And birthday to birthday, I published on my 50th birthday. Get it out the door, kick. And then it feels like I've said something. No, I vomited something out of my system. The whole time I was writing that book for 10 years, I love books. And yet I never read another book in that 10 years. Because I would go into an airport bookstore, I'm like, I love bookstores. And I would go in there and I'd be like, books, 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 and they called to me. But I would feel guilty because I hadn't finished my book. And I felt like, so I'd walk out of there. And I also didn't want to, shift what I was trying to say. There was something in me that had been learned and fought for, and I was in the trenches with the mustard gas flying over my head, and I wanted to describe that experience. And so for 10 years I didn't read another book. And now, honestly, guys, I feel devoid. I feel like I've said, here's my book, I'll show you. By the way, incidentally, I know some of you have my book. It's here. It's called The Alabaster Girl. And in Romania, where I have an apartment, I printed 2,000 of these books, and I have 1,000 left. I give them away. So if you want a signed copy, when I go back to Romania, I'll sign it, send it to you in the mail. Just pay for shipping. Go to alabastergirl.com, and I've got 1,000 left. So as soon as 1,000 are gone, done. But that's the book. And that was 3 years ago I published this thing on my birthday, and I haven't cracked it since. It's like that conversation is done. It's everything honestly, it's everything I ever knew or learned in my entire life to that point about sexual polarity, masculine edge, the female spirit. And so I feel like I'm coming on stage here. I thought for a couple days, what can I say? And the only thing I'm going to do is just kind of like, the only thing that has interest to me now is what I'm trying to understand for myself going forward. My next 50 years, my next book. It's the only thing that has any wheels for me at all. So it might be like scattered and messy, and I really don't have a nice opening and crescendo. I don't have it. So I'm just going to riff on a few things that I've been thinking about. And I hope you get value from it. My voice sounds a little scratchy, but oh well. And besides all that, you have enough information. You've been consuming information for 10 years on an average here, with books, ebooks, seminars, forums, Facebook groups, programs, DVDs, stuff you've done, YouTube videos. You have consumed information massively, and you have it packed in your head. So you don't need more information from me. And the only thing I want to get, if I can tonight, and I'll try, is to get kind of a spirit. If maybe you can feel what I've been trying to understand myself and what I'm still trying to understand going forward. So I'm not going to, I don't know, I'm just going to wing it. The information you have, like I said, you don't need more. The information age has run its course. It really has, because look at the misinformation that's out there everywhere now. The information age has run its course. It's overwhelmed with misinformation. And you have enough in here. So now, the only task from this time forward for the rest of your life is how to take this massive amount of information that you have consumed and to lower it down here into your heart, lower it down into your gut, and into your balls, so you can feel something. Right? So instead of like talking to women like, hey, nice to meet you, what are you doing later? It comes from here. Hey, I'm just going to say, I like girls and you look like one. That's all I know. Just saying. It comes from here. There's something that downshifts into your body. If you're hanging out with me ever, I'm like, hey, joke, fun, talk, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like anybody else. As soon as there's women, something in me downshifts. I can feel it. And there's something in me that kind of like, it's like, what's this shape? What's that video game? Mortal Kombat. And it's actually something that is shape charged for her. That's right, you felt that. I get it. I'm over here with my buddies, yeah. You're not going away. So there's something and if you can catch a glimpse or catch the spirit of that, get it out of your head. We're all in our head. You know, you get a negative thought. Let's say you go to a party and you don't know anybody there. But you want to be interesting and kind and cool and interact. And so you're like, get out my nerve, get in state. I'm going to talk to this girl over here. Hey, what are you drinking there? Whatever you say. And she's like, and he walks away. And now you get in your head, you get this negative thought in your head that says, well, that sucked. She just reinforced that I suck. You get this negative thought that circles around your head, you know, and it's like a bee. If you have one bee circling around your head, it's kind of a nuisance. If you have 3 or 4, that's your whole world. If you have 3 or 4 bees circling around your head, doesn't matter what else is going on, that's the only thing you can think about or concentrate on is that. And these bees circle around your head, and these thoughts build upon the thoughts, and then you think, well, I'm not interesting enough, obviously, and I don't know anybody here, and this is stupid, and I feel awkward. And the negative thoughts jump on top of each other, and accelerate, and this swarm of bees goes around your head, and you can't escape it. There's a whole doctrine out there that says, change your thoughts, your life will change. Change your thoughts. You can't. Those thoughts are faster than you are. You can't outrun the bees. They're circling perfectly, and if you're running as fast as you can, they're still circling perfectly. Right? You can't outrun it. So, how then do you take this knowledge you have in your head and downshift it into your body? So that now you're speaking from the way you feel as opposed to speaking from the way you think. I feel this. That's all I know. Just saying. How do you downshift it? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer, but I know approximations of the answer. And that is, how to put words on this? If you want, the information age is done, and we want transformation. We want embodiment. That's what I'm talking about. Take it out of here and embody this knowledge that you've consumed. Embody it here so you can feel it, so the world can feel it. So you move with your belt buckle forward as you walk into a room. Hello, I'm here. Feel that, girls? It comes from here. And something's planted. How do you do this? I tell you what's missing from the hearts of men. Trying to put words on it. The sense of journey. The sense of journey. Everything with us is a loop. We have a job, we do the job, we get a promotion, and it's just a slightly different loop. We start a relationship with a girl, ends after 2.5 years, and it loops back, we get another girl just like her. And it's this looping energy. And we don't have the sense that we're on a progressive move this way, a sense of journey. The story of stories, Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. That we have a sense of transcendence in that direction. We've got this looping energy. We don't feel like we're progressing, that we have anything to look forward to. You know the feeling you get when a birthday comes around? Think about that. Your birthday comes around again, and you're like, a year flew by. I can't believe it's my birthday again. And everybody's like, happy birthday to you. Blow out the candles, celebration. But you don't feel celebration. Inside, you're nodding your head and smiling, but inside you feel that I'm not here. The anxiety of like, my birthday, the year flew by. And you get this anxiety, this sense of angst here. And it's like, I can't believe the year just flew by and I'm already another year older. And when I'll tell you this, because when I quit my corporate job, you can hear my story elsewhere. I gave 2 months' notice. I was an executive. I gave 2 months' notice after thinking about it for a long time. And it shocked me and scared me. You can't imagine. Because I was going into nothing. And I remember I gave 2 months' notice because I was a senior guy. And I remember in that 2 months, I would lay in my bed and tears would stream down my eyes because I thought, what did I do? I gave up that full ride pension, all the benefits, medical, dental, gave it all up. I walked away from that. What am I doing? And I was scared and like, what did I do? But I've never looked back. And incredibly, because I didn't know that, but the side effect was the birthday comes around again, and it's just another day. You don't feel that. You feel like, okay, it's my birthday. And I think is you don't have that twinge of anxiety here when you are on message, when you're on a journey. You don't have it figured out. You don't have full confidence. You don't have this. You don't know where your next step is. But you know that you are taking steps to live a life of excellence, to make excellent memories. That's all you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you truly want change, and you do, or you wouldn't be here, if you want transformation, it's going to take everything you've got and more. And when I went to Nicaragua to work on my book, and I disappeared from the internet for a few months, and I sat there and I sweated in this cabin in a fishing village, and I wore the same shorts and t-shirt every day, no electricity. And I wanted to understand, the nature of what I was doing, and the people there were simple and the kindest and most happy that you can possibly imagine. And every 3 or 4 years, a hurricane would come through and rip out all their cabins and they build them again. So they had this sense of living very much in the moment. And I remember I came out of there to Amsterdam, and I did a weekend intensive there. So from that to this world, first world incredible culture. And the only thing I could think, those people are so happy and so kind and so caught up in the simplicity of what they have. And we have everything. And I thought, I came up with a phrase then, and I believe it with all my heart, and I'll say it here. Every great life has had in it a great renunciation. Let me say that again. Every great life has had in it a great renunciation. There is no other way. We think we can just put some motivational things on Facebook, like some stuff, do some affirmations, read another book. It's not enough. It's not enough. And we think, Hugh Hefner just died. And there's a video of Hugh Hefner, an interview when he was 88, so 3 years ago. And and what's remarkable about the thing he said about himself, Notes to Self or something it's called. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. And he said, there were moments in my life where I completely reinvented myself completely. I consciously chose to have a new way of thinking, a new persona, a new path. He consciously chose it by sheer force of will. And I believe that you really need to reinvent yourself every decade or so. What do I mean by that? Everything. Everything. Well, Zan, that's irresponsible because I have... Well, okay. Yeah. We think we have to have it all figured out. We have to save some money. We have to get ready. We have to prepare. Security. It wasn't too long ago that men just like you and 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 you, not you, and you, not too long ago, that men just like you went to sea in ships. Didn't get medical insurance before they went. They had no safety, surety, security. But they went. They followed the romance of their heart, said, I gotta go. And there's nothing. They could, there was no safety net for them. I mean, nowadays we backpack around Europe for 6 months, but no, you're going from ATM to ATM. Right? That sense of moving through life with a state of grace. And then we say, okay, but I have trauma and I have issues and I have this childhood. My childhood was not good, and I'm trying to sort this out. My childhood was not good. I was in foster homes from 4 years old for 2 years. And I don't remember the people's names, I just remember the people. And I remember they beat me within an inch of my life. And they locked me in closets. Because I was the babysitter, the closet. I learned how to count to 100 by myself in a closet. Figured it out. Sitting there in a dark closet. I saw violence. One of my first memories in the foster home is a gun pointed at my head. I don't know what happened. Drunken party, I don't know. So, I was a scared kid. And so, what's my point here? My point is this. Has there ever been in all of history good childhoods? In every culture, in every generation before us, there's been daddy's dragged off to war. Mommy can't feed us, so she's not feeding herself so she can give us food. Sister died from some incurable disease that would not happen today. All of childhoods and all of history were nasty, brutish, and short. I think that was Hobbes said that. right? In all of history. They've always been like, destructive and trouble and traumatic. And yet we're the only generation that sits and dwells on it, contemplates it, tries to resolve it. I resolve my childhoods before I can have any forward momentum. All other generations said, yeah, okay, well I was abused, I was abandoned, I was betrayed, I was hurt, right? Now I'm going to leave that behind and go and find out what I'm made of. Now, I am not trying to diminish, thoughtful and helpful therapy or counseling. I don't mean that at all. But when we use it as our crutch, as our excuse, as our victim, we're a victim, it's time to put away childish things, and say, no more. Because I tell you, that vile, mean authority figure from your childhood who hurt you in some way cannot touch you now. Can't touch you. You're a man. And at some point, why'd you see the time there? At some point, because no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for you. You have to look in the mirror and see that little boy. That little boy who is sincere. He meant well. He didn't mean it. Yet he got stomped on. And it's up to you to look in the mirror and say, and see that little boy, and he's sad. I'll tell you something, because you think, like all the confident guys, they go through life like rah-rah, everything's all cool. But that energy and that concept of sadness as a theme that runs as a thread through your life. Everybody has it. That pretty girl over there has a theme of sadness from something in her childhood. You do too. But the great thing is, you integrate that as part of your whole, who you are. That thread of sadness is what makes you become emotional at a sunset, or a work of art, or some music that makes you goosebumpy here. That comes from the sadness of your life. That's why art has any kind of value and traction with you. So you embrace it and say, yeah, I'm not completely confident in what, but at least I'm here. You can do this. In a sec. That little boy in the mirror, you can look at him, and which is you. No one else is going to, I promise you that. You can look at him and say, you know what? At least you're one thing, and no one can take it away from you. You're a student of life. You can give yourself that label right now because you're here, trying to understand your path, trying to find the path of excellence, trying to find your role, your dynamic with women. You're trying to find that energy of you moving forward, that transcendent progression through life, to get out of these loops. You can call yourself now a student of life. And that's absolutely 100% true, and no one can take it away from you. You've arrived. Hey, I'm a student of life. You can talk to a girl and she's like, well, I don't like you said that. Well, hey, I'm trying to be dynamic and interesting. I wanted to interact with you. I came to talk to you. And because I'm a student of life, I want to understand my role on this earth. I'm a student of life. She cannot say to you, well, no, you're not. She can say, I reject that. That can't be rejected. That is absolute truth. You can go home and look in the mirror every single day, and say, you know what, I said something stupid tonight to that girl. But I'm a student of life. No one can take it away or diminish that from you forever. That's the only thing you need to say to yourself from this point on. And if you have that sincerity, because that little boy in you was sincere. He meant well. And I have the belief that you're sincere now. You really want to have it be engaging, be kind, have somebody to love you, love somebody, be sweet, be cool, be interesting. That's sincerity. And if you have that, and you're sincerely trying to engage, and a girl says, well, you can forgive yourself everything. Everything from your past till now, you can forgive yourself everything. Forgiveness is huge. You can forgive that little boy. It's okay. It's going to be okay. I got you. And you can forgive everything, every seeming mistake you made, if you're sincere. You're honest in your intentions. I said before, maybe I'm repeating myself, but I'll say it again, because it bears repeating. When you make love to a beautiful woman, a woman that you adore, and she receives you, and she takes you in, because make no mistake, I don't care what you're hearing out there in the world, the energy and the divine birthright of men, your God-given energy, is a thrusting, penetrative energy. It's you thrusting. It's you desiring to bend the world over. That is divine. And we think, oh, okay, well, society says, well, men are like one step away from being a rapist. And you stopped at the playground there and looked at the kids playing, so you pedophile. Right? That's sin. That's a sin. Don't buy into it. Don't listen to it. Walk away from that energy. It's a sin perpetuated on men. The energy of man is to thrust and penetrate and give his greatest effort. And the greatest energy of the female spirit is to receive. And when you make love to a beautiful woman who receives, when you first penetrate her, and she's receiving you in the feminine grace, everything in that moment is forgiven. That energy forgives you for all the mistakes, all the hurts, all the things you did in the past. It's all forgiven because she receives and she rebirths you. Women with that energy, the female spirit, the beauty of the female spirit, the giving, rebirthing energy, they birth you and they have the power to rebirth you. And all is forgiven in that moment. And then we say, wait a minute, I don't meet girls like that. I'm on Tinder swiping. Right? And it's poking in holes and right? I get that. I understand. Women have shed the beauty of the feminine spirit, just like men have shed the beauty of the masculine spirit. And this is a reclamation. This is trying to say, we want to understand that again. We want to reclaim the polarity and the beauty. We want to say, I'm a man, and I like women, and I like the shape of women, and I don't apologize for that. No. Because God made me that way. None of this toxic shame, you quasi-rapist, you. Right? Don't buy into any of that. Don't accept it. So, I mean, there's a discourse going on in the world today, as you guys are all aware of, and it's a lot of voices on either side of the aisle. And I'm saying, there's nothing heroic in that conversation. Take an end run around it. Let's go over there. Yeah, okay, you guys knitter and natter over here. We're going over here. Let's go in this direction. I was on a radio show in Montreal, and it was a nightly sex talk radio show a while ago. And she said to me, okay, Zan, I asked all my guests this, so I'll ask you too, see what your answer is. What do you think about pornography and what it has done for the state of our intimacy and our relationships and how we view our bodies, and what has it done because it's so prevalent and it's everywhere? And we think it's shifted in the consciousness of this modern age. And I'm like, I don't really have an answer to that. I have no response to that. Now, I'm as aware as anybody that the prevalence of pornography has some impact on the way we view our bodies, the way we view our sexual energy. I get that. However, there's a lot of voices, pro and con, talking about that. You don't need my opinion stacked on top of it. So it's something I just haven't investigated or thought about or spent any time trying. You'll never hear me talk social commentary. What do you think about this and feminism? I don't know. Not interesting to me at all. At all. I want to understand something else. I want to understand what is the measure of a man? What makes us feel alive? What makes us feel like we're moving forward with grace and beauty and energy? What makes us feel like we're treasure hunters? Right? Where's that spark? Where's the joy? Where's the joy in any of it? You see? So I don't know. I mean, that's me. Take an end run around it. Here's a perspective for you, because it really shocks my mind. If I'm on an airplane, I've traveled a lot, I'm always on airplanes, and then you think, well, like, don't you get nervous on a plane? Like the plane might crash? And there's something in me, like if I get any twinge, which, that, man, what if this plane goes down? Then I'm going to go down with it. You know what kind of kicks into my heart? I look around at all the other people sitting on the plane. There's a family over there, and there's an old dude there. There's a girl there, she's pretty. And I think, if I go down, and the plane goes down, they're all going too. How am I special? That perspective, I don't know, it just blows my mind. There's a book by Ernest Becker, I think that's right, called The Denial of Death. In the 80s, I think he wrote it or something. The Denial of Death. And his thesis is this: we spend our entire lives, from the time we're born all the way, in denial of the fact that we're going to die. So everything we do, enterprise, business, substances, binge watching Netflix, is just to avoid the thought, because I don't want to think about it, that someday we are going to return to the earth. Can't escape it. And the other thesis he had was, because, you look at the dual nature of man. The animals are the animals with instincts. A dog, eats, sleeps, humps. The dog doesn't think about the Picasso over there, right? We don't think, we don't know. But we do, we abstract. Locke said, beasts abstract not. And we think in abstract. We think about beauty. We think about our childhood. We think about where we're going to go, what we want to accomplish in life, our hopes and dreams. We think about art, architecture. We think these things. And so we have this illusion that we are approaching the divine. this dual nature of man. We're divine because we think divine thoughts, but we're also going to go back into the earth, just like any other animal. And the other thing he says, and it's true, no matter how pretty that girl is, and how accomplished she is, and how great and whatever we think she is, she can't escape the fact that every now and then she has to take a long, runny shit. Can't escape it. That's a reminder that we're heading to the grave. And when you step back from this perspective, oh, the girl didn't text me back, that's a low, low, low perspective. You step back to the, wait a minute, one of these days I'm going to be dead. You think on that level, the oblivion of the grave that we're going toward, that's a perspective to have. You know, when I see a portrait, a photograph, for instance, of a young woman from 1890, wearing a feather hat, showing her a little bit of her breast, and she's like smiling at the camera. You've seen these, right? These vintage photographs. I could stare at that for an hour. All I can think is, that pretty girl, if she was here today, be like, wow, she's pretty. 120 years ago, whatever it was. She's young. She's beautiful. She's desired. She has desires. She had talents we don't know about. Maybe she could whistle. Maybe she could knit a nice sweater. Maybe she fell in love with somebody. Maybe she wanted to move to New York City. And none of it matters at all today. Forgotten. All of her talents, all of her dreams, everything mean nothing. And that's us. That's us. 100 years from now, no one's going to remember what you tried to do. So the whole point, I guess, I'm trying to make is fight for that energy. Fight for, like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, you in the book Ecclesiastes in the Bible, go read that book. Well, geez, Anne, I don't believe in the fairy tale. Read it. Go read the book. It was written 800 years before Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics came along and said, oh, you know, which is the same thing I'm saying. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics had this idea, which is kind of like a Buddhist thing, which is like, there's no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. That's Shakespeare, right? It doesn't matter. Stoicism. 800 years before that or so, the book of Ecclesiastes said, there's nothing new under the sun. Back then. Vanity, vanity. All is vanity. The writer of the book, King Solomon, presumably, said this, I acquired wealth above all the men of the earth. I had wisdom above all the men of the earth. I had enterprises and companies. I had women. Solomon had hundreds of wives and 1,000 concubines. He was a horn dog. Right? He acquired all these things. He had all this above all men. And he said, when I surveyed it all is vanity. Which means, it means nothing. So that perspective, the perspective of the grave, the perspective of the oblivion of the grave, I don't mean to be so morbid, but makes you realize, you know, guys say to me, okay, well listen, Zan, you say head toward the light. Head toward the light, but there is no light. Everybody's mean, everybody's suspicious, everybody's attacking, there is no light. Well, guess what? Then be the light. Consciously choose, like Hugh Hefner did, consciously choose. Because as you start to give your grace and your energy and your inviting spirit to others, they start to shine around you. That's the way it works. The greatest men who have women in their lives, one of the greatest quality these men have is a generosity of spirit. They want you and you and you and you to have a great time in their presence, to shine in their presence. I don't know how many here have been in Romania in my place. I don't know. But my place is always filled with girls. My lovely girl, Diana, and her girlfriends are always there. And we always have like people in the space, play a bit of guitar, hang out, have a glass of wine. And what you'll never see in my place, it's true, I think so, yeah, is you'll never see, like there's 10 people sitting around, you'll never see two people paired off. Like this, blah, 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 blah. Because I won't allow it. Because I want the energy to come to the center. I want you and you and you, so I'll interrupt and say, hey, tell that story you told me earlier today. It was funny. Tell the whole group. It's an inviting into the center so that no one is disincluded. If you're ever near me, and we're in a group, and I see everybody's talking and you're sitting quietly, and no one's engaging you, I'm instantly, come here. Did you meet this girl yet? Come here. You got to meet this girl. Because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be not included. And I won't allow it near me at all because I know how it feels. It doesn't feel good. So if you're in a social energy with me, I'm like, hey, this is my buddy. You didn't meet him yet. Come here. Come meet this guy. I'm like throwing everybody to the center constantly. And the opposite of generosity of spirit is judgmentalism. Is that a word? Judgmental, to be judgmental. That's the worst quality a man or a woman can have. To be judgmental. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that girl because that's the worst quality. Rip that out of your heart if you have any twinge of that at all. So I don't know, guys. Like, I guess I'm pretty abstract, huh? I didn't give you any like concrete, like, then you do this, and then you say, hey. Well, I hope, like I said, I'm just going to do some musings up here. What I'm trying to understand for myself. Because my next 50 years, the only thing I'm trying to understand is I'm kind of done with the conversation of men and women. Doesn't mean I know everything. It just means I'm kind of like, I spent my whole life trying to understand women. It's all I've ever done since I was 18. I have done nothing else. I had no other hobbies but that. I want to know. I went out wherever women are going to be, I'm going to go there. Buy myself to the mall, buy myself to the bars. I play a little bit of guitar, but just because I thought girls would like it. I did nothing else but pursue the hearts and minds of women I want to know. And I wrote in my book that women have been my teachers. No man ever taught me something, but women have been my teachers. And it doesn't mean that women are enlightened and say, let me tell you something about women. No, women are just as lost as we are. They have no clue either. I learned from women by osmosis, by observing, by, wait a minute, she said this, and I've heard that before, and maybe this. And so there's no woman ever actually, said, I'm going to teach you something. Just by observing the dynamic and the rhythm and the flow. Because it is a rhythm and flow. That's why you hear people say it doesn't matter what you say, and it doesn't. Because if you're from your head, like I talked about earlier, then it's all like, hey, will you like me? Because I have something interesting to say to you, and I got a joke, and will you like me? And it doesn't come from here, which is your grounded, beautiful, lower energy. I'll touch on that. Maybe I've said it before. I'm going to say it anyway. because I think it's incredible. Because I didn't know this. Everything I say, I'm saying to my young self, believe me. And I did not know this. I was the guy trying to be cool all the time, walking around with imaginary lats. Right? And lean against the bar by myself till 2 a.m. when the bar closes. Didn't do anything, too afraid to approach the girls. There's an energy that we put into the world, which is our energy that starts from here, our solar plexus, our heart, whatever chakra, I don't know any of these things. But it comes from here, and it goes up and out into the world. You can feel it. There's a masculine energy that goes like this. It starts from here and flows out into the world. This is you being gracious. How you doing, brother? This is you, hey, can I get you more wine? Can I get your coat? This is you telling a joke. Hey, guys, you're going to love this story. There's a great, charming, beautiful, masculine energy that goes out into the world this way. Up and out. And that's a necessary, excellent, that's empathy, curiosity, humor, all these things. And then from the same center of gravity, you have a lower moving energy. Starts here and goes down and out. And it floats on the floor like bass. Boom, boom. And you can feel it. And it's your desire to bend the world over. It's your dark forest. It's your sexual desire. It's your thrusting nature. It's your mischief. Did I just say that? Yeah, I think I just said that. You better believe I said it. You liked it. It's that. And all of our instruction out there, not all, but 98%, is how to be more this. Toastmasters, how to tell jokes, how to be funny, how to entertain the girls. Hey, girls, I got a question for you. It's all upper energy. That energy is a high energy. It's a necessary energy. But if it isn't counterbalanced by that lower moving vibrational energy that plants into the floor like roots of a tree, you're the nice guy. You're top heavy. You talk to a girl, hey, it was nice talking to you. Would you like to go for coffee sometime? Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. I didn't mean it. And we flinch. The Matrix, like this, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. What? Yes, you did. I just thought maybe we could have coffee sometime. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a boyfriend. Because we're top heavy, we have nothing down here that grounds us, that counterbalances all these great things. Your charm, your beauty, your fun, spontaneity, all these things. And if you're only lower energy, you're a pig. You're a creep. You're invasive. Why would you say that? Why would you do that? Right? Because it's not balanced. And the integrated man is both. Our modern man is this only. We know what wine to order. We know how to massage a girl. Try and get her in the mood. Women are always in the mood. You know? If you get anything from this conference at all, take that back home with you. Your sexual energy, which has been slapped out of you by society and the media and everything, is from God. You have to believe that. It's a thrusting energy, and the beauty of the feminine spirit, which is lacking as well, which we can't find anywhere, is to receive and to rebirth. The greatest women are the ones who see the potential in you that you do not see yourself. They inspire you. And when you have a girl, you want to be proud of your girl, because that's my girl over there. Not proud of the eye candy she is, but proud because that's my girl, and I like her, who she is, what she represents, what she's trying to do in her own life. That's a good girl. If you don't have that kind of pride for your girl, break up. Serious. If she doesn't have that for you, that respect and pride and really admire you, you have to admire each other. I think that's... Anyway, I have 4 minutes left. I don't know if it had any kind of value for you guys, but it's what I'm thinking constantly, and I can't sleep because I'm thinking about it all the time. I'm trying to write another book, and I can't form it.
Don't worry, you got till you're 60.
That's correct. I like this guy. But I will do it. Like, the world can't end because I got to do this book, so I'm not worried. It'll come out of me. But you know what? It's true, because this book, The Alabaster Girl, just go get it if you don't have it. Okay? And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about it. It's my life's work. It's 400 pages. That book came from my hard-won, hard-earned, hard-scrabbling experiences. And I vomited it out of my system. And I feel like my next book, I don't have anything. I have to go to the ancients. I don't know. But I know what the theme of the book is. I know what it feels like. I know the pattern of it. I know the name, the title, but I won't tell you. But I just can't shape it. I'm missing something. But I'm excited because I have to fight for it. So I guess my closing message, because I got 2 minutes left, is keep seeking that mystery. Go fight for the energy of the mystery. Answers, whatever. Keep always looking for the trajectory of what makes you alive, what makes you shine. Be the light, like I said, and others will follow into it. Be generous with your spirit. Be gracious, be kind. Welcome others in. Give. Forgive yourself. Forgive that little boy who meant well. Forgive yourself because you meant well last week when you talked to a girl and said, I don't like that. But your heart was sincere. I guess I'm done. I have bookmarks for everybody. I think I have enough. I'll hand them out. Go to alabastergirl.com. I had 2,000 copies printed. They're stacked up in my apartment, and I was signing them, sending them out. Now, the only thing you have to pay is shipping, the cost, and I'll sign and send it to you anywhere in the world. It was $7.95, $8. But then my lovely and illustrious Romanian business partner, Serene, said the postage went up, and now it's $10 to send the books out. So I was losing $12 a book, so it's now $10. So, but it's cost. Believe me, that's it. I'll sign it and I'll send it to you. Put your full name and your address and everything. I'll send it to you. But let me know what you think, because I don't know. Question? Oh, I guess I should have taken questions, huh? Are we out of time?
So I very much like your vibe, and I also, every time I went out and had more of your vibe, like focusing on energy, focusing on the flow, focusing, on the small things, letting it just develop, I was always more successful than if I just was there with my brain, just, like analytical German style. So
you're always on time, though.
Yeah, I know. So it's that. But I think what we all struggle with, and you said, don't judge is one of the things. Get rid of this. But I think what we do, and a lot of times we have our jobs, which we judge there, where we get sick sometimes from that. We have we look on Twitter, we turn on the TV, we see the news going on, we judge there, and we just. Do you have any tips? How we can, in our environment, which is full of, BS. Again, I'm judging here.
No,
how we can
you're
create more of
absorbing.
this vibe,
speaking,
so we can, and focusing more on
I
energy.
don't know. The world is saturated with this violent discourse. You know, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. Like, it's easy to say, well, just check out of it, but you know, we live a life of connectedness. I have to be on Facebook because that's how I connect with my family and other people, you know, so I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, I know alcohol helps, but are there any other tips?
I think it's just a conscious choice to say, nope, I don't want it. That doesn't serve me. To get into that dialogue does not serve me. Doesn't serve me. If you're a seeker and you're a student of life, and if you're a seeker, which is a beautiful, beautiful energy to be, then I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question. I really don't. It's a difficult time. One more question over here. We okay? Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
This is Mike with the 21 Report, behind the scenes in Orlando, Florida for the 21 Convention 10-year anniversary event. I'm sitting alongside Zan Perion. Zan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, sir.
It's great having you here, Zan. So before we get into some questions, could you give the guys watching a brief overview of your talk?
Oh, my goodness. I went on stage and I was kind of hemming and hawing because I didn't have a prepared speech. And I think the only thing I was trying to describe on the stage was the kind of things that I'm trying to understand for myself right now. You know, like I wanted to explore concepts that I'm fascinated about, but I don't have fully shaped or formed. And I don't know if I did that. I don't know if it was successful, but I didn't have a nice, you know, cut and dried speech lined up. And yeah, so that's what I did.
So in your talk, you mentioned about your masculine edge, your dark side. How can a man develop what you call his masculine edge or dark force?
Well, that's a good question because we all have it. We have that since we're born. We have this beautiful, dangerous, dark, masculine sexual energy, but we suppress it all our lives. So it's not like we have to develop this. It's like we have to reject this concept that it's toxic or that it's a bad thing that, you know, society and media perpetuates upon men, that to have a sexual nature, to desire to thrust and to penetrate into the world, which we had since we were little boys, and to not buy into the fact that is the concept that is out there that it's a bad thing. Or it's shameful. We're shameful of our sexual nature. So it isn't developing it, it's uncovering it, not apologizing for it, but at the same time having full respect, full empathy, full charm, full kindness, so that you're not this aggressive, you know, energetic creep, basically.
So you mentioned kindness and charm. What's the difference between being a nice guy and being what you're calling is charming?
Well, the nice guy has you know, concentrates on trying to be interesting, funny, talk, rapport, all this kind of stuff. And there's nothing energetically from his center of gravity that goes down into the world. Like, that is completely suppressed and cut off. So he's all upper energy. He's top heavy. He flinches if a girl says, "Oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh, I'm sorry." You know, and there's nothing grounding. I say it again, there's no penetrative force. And it's necessary, and modern man is all upper energy. They lead from their heads. "Hi, would you like to see me again? And nice talking to you. Can I buy you a drink?" And there's nothing that comes from that great center. I don't know it's hard to describe because I'm talking about vibration. And I wrote an entire book about vibration, really, and the energy. And energy sounds so woo-woo, but it is exactly it's consciously projected toward women.
So you spent your whole life, almost dedicated your life to understanding women.
Yeah, I did.
Why is that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just adore women. And I've adored women forever, even though I've been rejected in all my, my youth. My 20s was like just a blur of just massive insecurity and not being included and wishing and wondering what I did wrong. And, but I never gave up, I never gave up. I've adored women since forever, and I love, and this, I'm not saying that women are, I don't put women on a pedestal. I don't put a woman on a pedestal, but I put the female spirit on a pedestal. That is a saving grace. That is something that is rare, missing, just like the masculine grace is missing. So, but the feminine spirit, that to me is I just adore that, to bathe in the redemptive qualities of what true feminine spirit has for man. And it inspires man. We can go out and we can build the Taj Mahal, we can go, fight wars, we can do all that kind of stuff, because we have the inspiration of feminine grace behind us. And in this modern age, that's gone.
So what's next for Zan Perrion? What have you got in the works?
I'm trying to write a second book.
Okay.
And I said on the stage, I'm not blocked because I know what I'm trying to create. I just don't know how to, I'm missing something. I'm missing some kind of understanding to know how to form this. And so I lay awake at night, day and night is all I think about. It's like I want to try and, like my first book, it's a labor of love. It took me 10 years to write, Alabaster Girl. and I intellectually, I know I created, or I did what I set out to do. But the next book has me fascinated. I'm like, wait a minute, there's something else here that I can't quite, so to answer your question, I'm trying to write a second book, and I'm fighting for it day and night. That's all I know.
So it's still in the works.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out.
Something's cooking, and I don't know how to finish the cooking.
Cool. So Zan, this has been your second time speaking
Yes.
at the 21 convention. How has this event compared to last year's event in 2016?
Well, there's a bigger crowd here, and I think there's a more vibrancy here, and I'm not sure what it is. Like, it was quieter last year, I think. And this year, the guys are much more engaged, I guess you could say. And the speakers are much more coming together and engaged. I don't know, there's something living in this one that I'm not saying the last one wasn't, but there's some vibrancy which bodes well for the future. I don't know how to say it.
Awesome. So if the people watching want to learn more about you, more about your work, where's the best place they can go?
Well, arsamorata.com, my company, my philosophy is called Ars Amorata, A-R-S, A-M-O-R-A-T-A, and it's fake Latin for the art of love, Ars Amorata. Zanperrion.com is my website, and for a limited time, I have on alabastergirl.com, which is where I give my book away for free, pay for shipping only. And I've only got 1,000 copies left out of the 2,000 I printed. But I signed them and sent them from Romania. And as long as I've got those 1,000 left, then you can go to alabastergirl.com and put your name and address, and I'll send you a book.
Brilliant. So with that said, you can now see Zan's talk first on 21university.com or by clicking the link underneath this video. Zan, thanks once again for being with us. We
Thanks
really
for having me,
appreciate
man.
it. So that's been Mike with Zan Perrion signing off for the 21 Report. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.